Thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to District Needs and Budget, our first meeting of the year. I hope you guys all checked your emails. I apologize, I did not have a chance to reach out to all of you guys last week or this week to just reconfirm that you received all the information. But as you guys know, the budget, the preliminary budget stuff is out already. So we wanted you guys to take a look at that, but we'll be talking about that today. Next slide. Okay, guys, ground rules. No one may speak until granted the floor. CB11 members, if you have a question about board business, you wish to make a motion, please raise your hand through the Zoom function. If you click the participant icon, the participant panel should appear and you should find the raise hand function there. If you still have technical difficulties, you may click on the chat icon and relay your difficulties to the staff. The chat function should not be used for CB11 business or questions about agenda topics. All such remarks should be made on the record by raising your hand through the Zoom. Chat should only be used to alert us of any technical difficulties you are having or to state in writing information like an email address that was already stated aloud onto the record during the meeting. Please keep your questions and comments succinct and germane to the discussion. Members of the public, if you have questions or comments about the subjects on the agenda, please raise your hand through the Zoom and wait to be recognized. Angel, can you, or I call this to order and you do roll call?
You call to order.
Yep, call to order. We can start roll call.
Sure. Committee members, when I call your name, please answer present. Stephanie Arroyo.
Present.
Giselle Malave.
Present.
Malik McCullough.
Present.
Nilsa Arama.
Present.
Art Perez is excused. Natasha Rodriguez.
Present.
Dawn Sanders. Jason Villanueva is excused. Michelle Wiltshire-Clement.
Present.
You have quorum.
Thank you. So we have the adoption of the agenda, but do you guys see me? You hear me? Do you hear me? Sorry, I have like a spotty internet connection.
Yes.
There's no the adoption of agenda from the last time we had a meeting. I don't believe I had the agenda put in just yet, did I? When was the last time we had our meeting, Angel?
You mean minutes? The agenda you have.
Minutes. My apologies.
That's all
You have
right.
the agenda. It was already circulated through you guys through the email. Should have looked at it. If I hear there's no issues with the agenda, we should be able to adopt it, right?
Correct.
Anyone has any concerns with the agenda? Because I see no hands up. I'm assuming we can move on. Adoption of committee minutes. We do not have committee minutes because I have not provided them. I apologize. The last time we had a meeting was back in December. Did we have a meeting in December?
Yes.
So I do owe all of you guys and the full board some minutes. I will have those soon. I will do these tonight because I'm not doing that this year. Any announcements? I don't see any hands raised. So I guess we have no announcements.
I just wanted to say, just to remind members of the public, if they did not have the opportunity to testify during the public hearing at last night's full board meeting, they still have an opportunity to submit written testimony via email to the board's general inbox, which is mn11 at cb11. Excuse me, let me start over. mn11@cb.nyc.gov. And the board will receive written testimony until January 31st. And that's in order to be able to distribute any written testimony to the committees before the February meetings start.
Thank you. Any informational updates? Don't have any, and I don't see any hands raised. So I'm assuming we can move on. Committee review and discussion on the mayor's preliminary budget for fiscal 2024. January 18th, mayor's preliminary budget was released. Now in February, the board committees are reviewing the preliminary budget documents and submitting comments for inclusion in the board's written response. District Needs and Budget Committee, that's us, we will compile the committee comments and any public testimony and draft the board's response. So basically, I need to make sure that each and every one of you are meeting with your committees, because we're going to be putting in the comments for our public testimony and to draft the board's response. February 16th, the District Needs and Budget Committee finalizes the draft response. On February 21st, full board votes to adopt the written response. So after this meeting, you guys will be meeting with your prospective committees, and we will come back on the 16th, and we will have a drafted, but in between that time, you guys have access to the Google share folder, share drive. So you guys should be putting in that information, or if you don't have access to it, send that information to Angel, Marlene, so we can start putting that together. And February 16th, when we all convene again, we will be finalizing that draft so we can have it available for the full board to vote on the 21st. Right? Okay. Yeah. The statement on preliminary budget helps the boards influence the selection of programs and projects included in the executive budget. Tell the mayor what you think about the impact of the city budget policies. React to the agency's funding recommendations. Within that, we're supporting funding decisions that you like. We're protesting any funding decisions that we oppose. And we add evidence to support any of our budget proposals. We also tell about changes in the community since the board sent their budget requests and priorities. We also tell the city council, the borough president, and the borough board about the committee board concerns. These bodies also hold public hearings on preliminary budget. The borough president and the borough board submit recommendations to the mayor and the city council for consideration in preparing the executive budget. So this is very important because this will be used for the complete budget throughout the city. And as you guys know from last year, there was a lot of back and forth when it came to the budget, especially when it came to education. So it is very important that we take this opportunity to put in information that we know that is important to our community, so they have that information and they can allocate funding accordingly. Next slide, please.
That was the last one.
Oh, that was the last one?
On this point, yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So what is next on our agenda?
So if I could, Stephanie, since you referenced the shared drive, I'm gonna stop sharing this. And
the shared drive, yes, please.
Yeah. Give me a second. Yeah, and I want to just point folks to, if my computer will cooperate.
I think we have a question.
There we go. Give me one second.
Nastasia, am I saying your name correctly? Please correct me if I'm saying it wrong.
It's Natasha. It's Natasha.
Thank you, Natasha.
Yeah. So just clarifying on instructions that were given. So basically this is our last chance to advocate for anything that wasn't necessarily included in the budget, like the draft that was sent to us. Is this,
so,
I'm sorry.
No. Yeah. Totally understand. So basically the budget from last year is the budget from last year. 2023 is done. We're now looking at the budget for next year, for 2024. So what you've received is the recommendation of what the mayor thinks he's going to do with the budget. right? That's what we're looking at. So right now we're reviewing it. Each committee should be reviewing it and seeing, does this work for us? Does this not work for us? Do we want to make sure that funding is allocated to something else? And so forth and so forth. So this is the opportunity that we have now.
All right, yeah,
that's today. You got it?
Yeah, I got it now. Yeah, no. So basically, after today, we go back to our committees, and basically any comments we write within the shared drive, right?
Right. Well, we're also doing a response, right? So there's two things that
Yeah.
we're doing. We're doing a response where it's a letter with complete recommendation as to our community in full. And we're also going to be doing a response to each budget request that we have. Am I right, Angel? Right?
So you could respond to each budget request if you so chose. Yes, chose. But you don't have to. It's up to the respective committees what they want to prioritize or whether they want to respond to all of them.
So sorry, one more question.
Okay.
So if there's something, let's say like there's something we see within the budget and there's something not included that we feel very strongly should be included, it's now the time for us to like say if we feel like not like I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but if there's like something not included within
I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. So not to add specifically a budget request, but to bring to, and it was included in what Stephanie had mentioned before. If there was an issue that, came to mind or came up since we submitted our budget request, but it's, we feel that it's something important for the mayor to take into consideration, yes, we can certainly include that in our budget response.
Okay, thank you.
So I just wanted to kind of point folks, because I know the staff, we use the term the budget drive, the board member team drive all the time, and you guys might be listening to us or looking at us like, what in the world are you talking about? So a few years back, the board gained access to the Google Drive. We purchased access to Google Drive, and we provide access, created a drive specifically for board members, right? Which is called this right here. You can see my cursor on it. So the board members team drive. If you have Gmail and you go into your shared drives, you will see this listed. So when you enter the board members team drive, you go by committee. So district needs and budget committee, and you go to the corresponding year. And all the documents for that year will be located in there. And the document that Stephanie is referring to this evening that's going to, include our response is this one here at the bottom, statement on the FY 2024 preliminary budget working draft. So I just used last year's and just took out all the text. And what we'll do is, we'll have of course, addressing the mayor, and then we'll have a general statement up top, represented by this paragraph, but there'll be more. That'll be the task of this committee to fill out. So, and I'll work with Stephanie to help craft this, taking into consideration input from members of this committee. Then the work of your respective committees and the feedback that they're, sending back to the district needs will be, included underneath each of the respective city agencies and authorities, right? So I've listed, excuse me, ones that we submitted requests to in our fiscal year 24 submission. But like Natasha was referencing, if there was something that came up since that submission that correlates to an agency that isn't in this list, we can certainly add that agency and just add the information or the issue that we want to bring to their attention, or the ask we want to add to their attention. After, sorry, I'm missing one thing. And then also underneath each of these agencies, we can have a paragraph or two stating what we want to state. And then if we want to identify specific budget requests that we want to highlight, then we can do that there, or list all of them and include, what we want to say about each one of those. Repeating the budget request just to repeat them is unnecessary because I already have it. But if there's, one or all that we want to say, hey, this specifically the following, then this is the place to do it. Then the document concludes with a note of the public hearing. And if there's any written testimony received, before the deadline, then we'll note that that written testimony will be attached to this document, and then we'll close out the document. So it's all there. I hope that's helpful.
I think Malik has a question. Malik, go ahead.
Yes. My question is how likely, if we had something that was missing that was initially there, or that needs to be amended, how likely is this to be addressed? And this is only specifically for those matters, correct? Angel?
You faded at the very end. So how likely what?
Oh, okay. How likely are these issues to be addressed that we are sending here? And this is specifically for items that we need to amend, or that may have been missed.
Right. So we won't be amending any budget requests, right? Because the budget requests are already in. We can just speak to them, right? But if we wanted to, just following Natasha's question from before, if there was a new issue that we wanted to bring to the administration's attention, the question of how likely it is, in fairness, is not something that I can answer, other than to say as likely as any of the other ones, right? And it's, budget priorities and budget decisions are made, via advocacy and prioritization on the part of the administration. So just like with anything else, we keep knocking on the door and knocking on the door, knocking on all the doors, and then hoping that, the winds turn in our favor and decisions are made that line up with the requests that we've submitted.
Any other questions? Malik, your hand is still up. Do you have another question?
Yeah, I was talking, but I was on mute. Sorry. Because I had a follow-up question.
I can't hear you when you do that, Malik.
So in respective to our committees, each of us, when we go back, are we asking two things? One, we need to work on 2024, and then two, to see if there was anything that was missed.
So I would say, instead of missed, I would say it as if there is anything else that should be brought to that agency's attention. Right. So an example, in our budget request, I don't recall, I'm pretty sure, we didn't say anything about services for the migrants that have been being brought to the city, right? I'm just making up an example. We didn't say anything in our budget request, but if, for example, the Human Services Committee wanted to add, I'm making up an example here, okay? Don't quote this. Since our submission in November of 2022, the migrant crisis has affected our city in the following ways, and our community in this particular way. We asked that the administration, provide funds or focus funds to help aid the migrants that are being housed or serviced in our district. That's just, off the top of my head, something like that. Does that help, Malik?
Yes, and what did you call it? Because you broke up. Instead of missed, what did you say?
Something else that's come up. Another relevant issue that's come up since you submitted the thing. Yeah.
Got you. So those are the only two things, not only, but these are the two things that we should go to our respective committees about.
Yeah, and I encourage you, like, I know we sent a lot of stuff, but one of the things that we attached in the email that went out with this agenda is a document prepared by the Office of Management Budget and Budget that gives pointers on how boards can prepare their statements. And the language that Stephanie read a little bit ago, I pulled right from like the first or second page of that. And that's really, like, I think that would be helpful, and that could be helpful in focusing the discussion at your committees.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course.
So I'm wondering, Angel, if they should also be looking at the public input to help them respond to put into the response for the statement.
Certainly, that's why we request, that's why we hold a public hearing and encourage members of the public to submit testimony, for sure.
So there was a question made through the chat. If the question was, so we would put time for a discussion in our committees on the agenda. So yes, you should definitely put time in each of your committees that this conversation is had with the committee members of each committee, so we can get this done, because you guys are meeting now, so by February 16th, when we meet again, you should have all that information. And if there's any responses or any additions, like you said, any relevant information that you guys think should be put in the response, that's something that we're going to need when we revisit together February 16th. Michelle?
Hi, thank you for granting me the floor. I wanted to say also, if you see, I noticed some contradiction in the agenda that they had, the budget that they had put out. Like there was, for an example, we asked for more trash cans to be placed in different areas within our district. And it was, no, you don't need any more. I don't have it in front of me. It fell on the ground, so I can't really reach it at the time. However, that is contradicting what they had said, that they were going to actually put more trash cans in our area. They were going to do more trash routes and increase that. So to get that information and add it, I think would help if you see a contradiction. You understand what I'm saying?
Where did you say you saw this?
Oh, in the budget, the preliminary budget that you sent, the mayor's preliminary budget, there was a line with the Department of Sanitation saying that they were not going to be adding any more trash cans in our area. We'd asked for more trash cans and it was like, no, you don't really need them. I don't have the specific language since the document fell on the ground. Hold on.
That was in the Register of Community Board budget request, Manhattan 11, on that, the preliminary.
Yes, it's in the Register of Community Board budget request. This one right here. Can you see?
Yeah, I see which one you're talking about.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but to add on, yesterday they did
Yes,
state that they was putting new different types of trash in our neighborhood, different types as well. I forgot
Different types of trash cans, yes. That's what Mark Levine had spoken about, saying that the orange receptacles for composting will be added into different areas, as well as in that we will be that trash will be obtained from different household areas as well as commercial areas. So it's a contradiction. I'm going to look for the.
I think you're talking about page 9, where the request is to provide more on-street trash cans and recycling containers.
Hold on, let me see if I have it in pages. Hold on a second.
On the actual document,
Yes.
it's page 9.
On the actual document,
Yeah.
DSNY will evaluate this request. However, they had already said that this is something that they had wanted to do, was to increase the amount of trash cans. So it's a contradiction. And I felt that it would be pertinent to add add where they said that they want to have more trash cans added, and where our elected officials have said they wanted to add more trash cans and will be adding more trash cans. And that might bolster our request in a more positive way to get this to happen. It seems like there's like a contradiction of what we request and what they say they want to do and what's actually happening.
You're saying we're requesting more cans. They're saying they can't put any more cans. Where do they say that?
Their language is saying DSNY will evaluate the request.
Okay.
In other words, they're thinking about it. However, Mark Levine just last night said, oh, we're going to have the orange trash cans added. And have you noticed them around, which is for composting? And there was another elected official, and I can't remember her name at the present moment, who has said that, yes, they will be adding more trash cans in our district. And that was supposed to be a definite, as well as increasing the number of times for trash pickups.
Like, I get what you're saying, but I don't, and Angel, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe that sanitation saying that they will evaluate our request means that they're not going to do it. It just means that they're going to evaluate it, but that also can mean that we will get more, right? Especially if someone else is funding it, because they could be funded by the borough president and not by sanitation directly. Am I incorrect in saying that, Angel?
You're not incorrect. Like, I guess my response to the point Michelle's bringing up is that where there are occasions where the members and the committees are observing something that they find contradictory, that's certainly fair game to discuss amongst the committee to make sure that all the information that we have is current, not just from the register, which is of course key, but if you want to respond and say, look, there's a contradiction here, or we've asked for this and you promised the other thing and you didn't give it. If you want to make any points about those specific requests, that's appropriate feedback. I hope that helps.
Would that go to, does it matter which committee is responding to this? Because wouldn't that
Yes. We have to be organized. So the Department of Sanitation is under the purview of our Environment, Open Space, and Parks Committee.
So I guess, Michelle, if you're seeing that, that's something maybe you can bring up to Malik, and Malik can bring that back up to his committee.
Michelle, she in the same committee? We can bring it up together.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have her as the VP of Public Safety. I only know your VP.
No, she is, but she's still a part of us, though.
Granted,
I know she is.
I didn't know. So bring it up to your committee.
Yes, but isn't the Department of Sanitation part of the, wait. Oh, yeah.
But you're the VP of Public Safety and Transportation. I didn't know you were also on Environment and Open Space.
Environmental, yeah. Yes,
Gotcha.
I am. I guess I mixed the two up.
No worries. I'm glad you're looking at that, though. That's important. Nilsa, do you have a question?
Well, yeah, just I was gonna say what Angel said, so I don't need to repeat that. But in terms of protocol, the vice chairs of each committee is supposed to be on this committee, right? Just because I'm late to the game right now. And so it's the vice chair of the committee that should bring this up first, right? And then if there's a supporting member, then that person would then bring up anything that the vice chair didn't do, or is it open to anyone that is part of both committees to bring up. The reason I say that is because Jason also is, I believe, part of this committee. So I'm going to defer to him. But if there was somebody else from land use who wanted to, essentially the vice chairs are the ones that are supposed to take the role. Is that not
Yes.
correct?
That's
Okay.
that's correct. You
Okay.
put that in place. What are you talking about?
No, I
Yes.
did, but because, like, for instance, the question
Te
came up
olvidaste,
with
Nelson.
Malik. No, the reason is because of what Malik brought up, right? If he's the vice chair of a committee, he should be the one that's bringing back the information. And if he forgets to bring something up and Michelle is part of that committee, then she can bring it up, right? So that the committees get used to dealing with the appropriate liaison. So that's why I wanted to make sure that that didn't change based on the conversation that I'm overhearing now, because the vice chairs are supposed to be the lead.
Actually,
Yes.
now that you bring that up, Nelsa, I think just for my purposes, I have, and I just want to make sure I have this correct. I have Michelle as the VP of Public Safety and Transportation, Malik as the VP of Environmental, Open Spaces and Parks. Nilsa, you're the VP of Land Use. Arturo Perez is my VP of Human Services. Dawn Sanders is my VP of Housing. Natasia. Am I saying it right?
Natasha.
Natasha.
I'm sorry, but I have you as the VP of Youth and Education, and then Giselle, the VP of Economic Development. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, you're definitely right, Nilsa. It should be the VPs that are bringing this back.
Right.
But of course, if you guys are on other committees and you see that your VP has forgotten to mention something that you see that's very, I'm sorry. Oh, if you see that's very important, you should definitely mention it at your prospective committees. Nilsa, your hand's still up. Do you have something else?
No,
Or can I-
I'm good. I'm gonna put my hand down. I just wanted to clarify the protocol, just
Thank
because I didn't know if something had changed from the time we put this in place. Thank you.
No, ma'am. Thank you. Malik, I see your hands up.
Yes. But yes, I feel like that's exactly how it's supposed to be. But if Michelle seen something that I did not see, or I can't bring that up for her. So that's why I said Michelle can bring that up.
Correct, which is a clarification.
Am I not correct? Huh?
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was just asking, am I not correct about that? Or I'm supposed to bring up that matter?
Clarification that I made, right? It is up to the vice president to bring it back to the committee. Of course, we all hold a lot of other hats in this, in the community board. And we also are interested in other things and other subjects. So if by chance your VP forgets to bring up something at their committee meeting that you see that is important, of course, do the due diligence for your community and bring it up. But since you are here, Malik, and you did hear what Michelle stated, I would assume that you will be bringing this back and hopefully you'll remember it and are taking notes. And if not, Michelle has your back. You're very lucky to have Michelle here who has your back. But it's usually the
No,
case
but
that it's the VP who
but
brings
what
it
I'm
up.
saying is if I don't have the supporting documents that Michelle sees, I can't bring something back that I can't.
So you didn't
like,
have
yeah. So that's what I'm trying to say. It has to be some type of. I want to make sure that we all understand. Like, it still has to be. I still have to know what she sees. I can't go based off of, like y'all said, we need to see, we got to have the support in order to bring it up. No?
Hi, Stephanie. It's Nilsa. Can I just comment on that quickly? Because I think it'll put it to bed. Sure.
So just make sure, Malik, I just want to make sure this was emailed to everyone, and I want to make sure that we do have your email on file, but this was emailed with all the information that was sent out to everyone for this committee. There was like 4 different documents that were sent out today at 7 in the morning, and it's with the district needs agenda, the budget request for Manhattan 11, and that is what Michelle is looking at. And there's also the info statements for the preliminary budget. And there's also the CB11 Manhattan statement on fiscal year 2023 preliminary budget response. So that should all be in your email. That's also in our drive, in our community board drive, Google Drive. So if you have Google and you need it, if we don't have your email on file, if you didn't receive it, please let me know so we can make sure you get this and you can look at it as well. But that's where Michelle got that from. That this was emailed to all of us.
I did not get anything.
Gotcha. So you didn't get the agenda either? Nothing?
No, I looked up the agenda on the board website.
Gotcha. Can you through the chat, can you send me your email so we can have it, and I'll make sure that I'll get it to Angel as well.
All right, thank you.
Malik, do we have your email, or do we need to make sure we have to have a better email for you? Because I want to make sure you have this.
It's not about the email. What it's about is, as far as for Malik is concerned, I can't speak for everyone, but as far as Malik is concerned, if anyone sees it, I don't have nothing to do with Michelle. If anyone sees anything, or if you're talking about something specific and it's on a particular document or whatever, I just need to know. What I'm trying to say is, I need to know where and stuff where that information is, etc. Not for, oh, Malik, go find it. And that's what I'm just trying to say. That's all I'm saying.
So that's why I want to make sure that you do have this information, Malik. It was emailed to you. If you didn't receive it, please let us know so we can make sure it gets emailed to you. And it's also found in our Gmail drive, our Google Drive. So if you don't have access to those things, let me know. I'll send you my email, I'll send you my phone number, and I'll make sure that you have that information. But again, it's not to say that, we don't all see things the same way. So it's not to say that, we all make mistakes. We all don't know everything. I don't know everything for sure. So of course, if you have someone who's here right now, or who is looking at the budget preliminary and has ideas as to, wait, this is very important, yes, we want them to bring that up in the committee meeting. What we're saying is that each of us are put into this committee because we are vice presidents of our other committees. And as vice president, this is part of your job. Not to say that this is all on you, but it kind of is, I guess. But you do have people here.
I feel like you're missing our point, but I would rather us move forward so that we could get past this.
Sure. All right. Malik.
And I'll figure. Okay, let's just get past this.
Okay, Malik. Nilsa.
It's a simple thing, honestly. If I am the vice chair of the committee and I'm bringing back the information, Malik, that's here, right? I don't know everything. I agree with you, right? So if there's someone else on this committee, like let's say Michelle, and she's part of my committee, it's very easy to open up and say, as the vice chair, as part of district needs and budget, whatever you're going to say, and these are the things we're going to talk about. And then you can then invite Michelle and say, Michelle, you're part of the committee as well. Is there anything that you've noticed or that I may not have mentioned? And then it's a simple thing for Michelle or anybody else to bring up, because everyone's supposed to be reading this and discussing it in committee. But in the purposes of Michelle or anybody else who's here that's on the same committee as the vice chair, it's just a simple matter of opening up the discussion and giving that person an opportunity. So if she noticed or he noticed something else that you may not have mentioned, then they can bring it up as well. And then this way the bases are covered. But I just wanted to be clear that the vice chair is the liaison. And so the committees, to avoid confusion, the vice chair should open up that conversation first.
Thank you, Nilsa. Michelle, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, I was up for a while. All I wanted to say is that I did get the two things confused for a little bit. That's all. And I wanted to have that just as an example, not realizing that this was going to create this type of major confusion. That was not my intention. It was more so just as an example of how we can booster up our request so that it could be, it would seem more validated. So it wasn't to overstep anyone's, it wasn't to go through a boundary of some sort. It was more so as an example. So I will in the future make as possible clarity to not confuse the two, my two interests.
I appreciate you giving us that question because it actually, we found out that some people need to be added to the email, so it's fine. It's okay. I appreciate it. Milton, your hand's still up. I'm assuming you're done. Beverly, I see your hands up.
Yes, thank you, Michelle, for acknowledging me. I'm not a vice president or anything like that, but I just want to know regarding the agency's response, is that also in the drive for members of any particular committee to look at?
Right in saying that, Angel?
So for 2024, everyone has, for this budget year, the meeting with the agencies have already happened already. Is that correct?
No.
Oh, they haven't had. Okay, so that's something that's going to happen in the future, based on our the board's request for the budget items that they have listed.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Hey, Stephanie, I can just answer the beginning of that question. All board members have access to the entire board member team drive.
Yes, yes.
All of it and always.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay, dear. All right, you got
I
it.
just want to know if we, since before the budget of 2024, I know you usually have a meeting with the respective agencies, and if that was done yet.
If you're referring to the district consultations, that doesn't happen until summer. Is that what you're
Okay.
referring to?
No, in regards to the budget, like
No, I
last
know,
year.
I know that the district budget consultations. Are
Okay.
those the meetings you're referring to?
Yeah, that help us prepare for our request, budget
Right,
request
that-
for the
that-
next year.
That happens in the summer.
Oh, that happens in the summer.
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
That
Oh.
those you rightfully said, those conversations help to inform our submissions for the next fiscal year. So the next consultations will help to inform our request for fiscal year 25.
That y'all have for this, that would be in the summertime.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Right now,
Okay.
we're still in 24, preparing the response to the preliminary for 24, and council will have hearings on the budget for 24. That's what's on the docket right now.
Okay, so the line items that we have, like the first 40, that's for capital budget or whatever. If there's any questions that a member has, they speak with the committee at that time to try to any issues that we have to make sure it's put in the budget, or at least talked about in the budget to be put in.
But to be clear, we're not adding budget requests.
No,
But-
just to make it.
But
right.
if there are topics that or issues that need to be raised corresponding to a committee, yes, like you're asking. So if you had an issue related to economic development, then that should be brought up and discussed at economic development or land use or housing or
Right.
the other ones.
Okay, thank you so
Okay.
very much.
You're very welcome.
Any more questions? Beverly, I see that your hand's still up.
I'm
But I'm
sorry.
assuming
I'll
that's all
lower
you
it.
can, right?
Yes, I'll lower it.
Thank you. All right, Angel, I think we can move on to the next thing. Beverly, your hand's up again. Okay, no, it's not. Okay,
I lost my slide. Give me one sec. I'll get it up once again. This is wrong. There.
Any old business? I don't see. I don't have no old business. We can move on. Any new business? Do we have any new business we want to talk about? Don't see any hands up. Angel, can you please do roll call?
Sure. I actually do have it's not new business, but it's something I wanted to share with the committee. I don't want you to get confused, okay? That's kind of out of time. I thought it was kind of neat. I talked about this with Stephanie the other day. And there's been discussion over the years about having a public-facing budget tracker. And we were finally able to kind of crack the code on how that would work, both for the staff and for the members, well, for the public. Hold on, I'm trying to find it now. I'm gonna share it with you in 2 seconds. Bam. Bam. All right, so from our homepage on our website, if you've ever been there, under About CB11, if you scroll down to Budget Request Tracker, come on, cooperate with me. Yeah. We've created a view using the Airtable tool of all the budget requests of the year that's ongoing. So this lists out budget requests for fiscal year 24. It's the same information from that spreadsheet you had before. The one difference is we'll be able to track on here. You'll be able to track from year to year what the responses have been, the adopted budget corresponding to each fiscal year. And that just lives on the website so that not just members of the board, but also members of the public are, if they're so inclined, can look on there and see where the community board sits in terms of requests that it's submitted. And that's right on the website. That's it.
Michelle, I see you have a question.
It's not so much as a question, but more as a comment. On the last page, I saw that we were approved for a budget increase. And I was going to just say, I was glad about that.
Who was approved for a budget increase?
That it
The
looked
community
like
board?
Yes, the community board.
Oh, from your lips to God's ears, it's the same number.
Ah, drat. You know, I was
But
just
you
like,
know,
"Is
like
this
you can
budget
speak it into
increase?"
existence, man. I'll say thank you when it happens.
Increase to the city community board.
Oh, well.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
All right, so if there's nothing else, we can do roll call and then adjourn.
Okie dokie. Board member, excuse me, committee members, when I call your name, please answer present. Stephanie Arroyo,
Present.
Giselle Malave,
Present.
there she is. Malik McCullough, Nilsa Rama,
Present.
Natasha Rodriguez,
Present.
Malik here.
Thank you, Malik. And Michelle, what's your comment?
Present.
We have quorum.
Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, guys. Hope to see you February 16th, and hopefully you guys will bring this back to your committee. Bye.
All right. Thank you.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Good night.
Good night, all.
Thank you, guys.